Hi there. Can you hear me?
There we go. You should be able to hear both of us out. Everybody else
Right.
still here?
Yep.
Cool, cool, cool. So we're just
So
gonna.
nice to meet you all.
Like,
And you too?
All right.
Thanks.
So the captain managed to get the win.
Nice.
Do you want to talk through your deck a little bit? It looks like a very nasty KOTE deck.
Yeah, fair enough. So I'm really happy, first of all, that the captain won because it was our strategy that we need that win. And in terms of my matchup, I feel like, as you can see probably on the deck list, my board control is pretty weak. Therefore, I'm all about some sort of disruption with Teliga, with Ember Imps, some control the weaks in the key spots, Life Ward as well. And of course, we can see the high generation from Untamed and some sort of steal potential with double TMTP and so on. So I feel like I'm most likely the rush deck, but I have some disruption control playstyle incorporated into my game plan, some strategies. So I feel like it's difficult to play, especially probably all games in the top cut I played against mass mutation decks, which I didn't expect to, but that's life.
Fair enough. And how's your testing gone? How's it gone playing against teammates using this different deck?
Um, it's a little bit of a struggle, as in many mass mutation matchups. But I have some strategies and lines. I have definitely more chance to win than against semifinal against JB when I needed to high roll, which fortunately I did.
Yeah. How's Tealga's back doing?
Yeah, I feel like I've used all my luck back then, so
hey, listen, they don't play the games on paper. That's why they play the games like actual game form. So you got to play to your outs, and when your outs hit, there's no shame in that whatsoever.
Oh yeah, just so
Yeah.
you know, Rob, JB is in the commentary with us.
yeah, I see him. Yeah, we've spoken a little bit. Yeah, it was a pure high roll. I feel like I should have lost this game like 9 out of 10 times, but we take those.
Listen, you gotta. I've had those matchups too. You gotta take the wins however you get them, as long as they're
It was
obtained by.
a 1 out of 10 win, but with a 1 out of 100 hand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and actually, computer shuffled, so it's not like I've cheated in shuffling, right?
No.
So, how are you feeling going into this matchup? Because I know Dominic was saying that this isn't the best matchup for you.
Definitely not. I feel like I need him to draw a little bit awkwardly, so to have some sort of grim reminders kick soon or early to clock up his hand and this Infernuses as well, because it's really difficult to discard the Infernuses in this matchup, and sometimes it can slow the matchup enough for me to just speed run through the keys or through the board. And but definitely the Infernuses, the resurgence into them, or triple Pismires is tough. And if the Infernuses hit the key cards like Control the Weaks or Poison Waves, I feel like I'm a little bit underdog. But I have some outs. Teliga first and some sort of good Untamed Suite should be fine, or this one as well. So the training was okayish. I lost more than I won, but I've learned through the losses some strategies.
That's fair enough. Any last questions from the other commentary?
No, I just ask because I was asked by my opponent to go to set up the game, but I feel like I shouldn't be the one because of the OBS system. Right?
Yeah, no, the I ideally should be the one setting up it.
Okay, so I will just ask him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Because Hamburg's at
good
the
luck
bottom.
for the Atlanteans, right? Good luck for the opponents from my side.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rob. Lorenzo, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, Aya Daily says that you're handling his interview.
Yeah, he has. He don't want to.
Fair enough.
That's fair enough. Not everybody wants to.
Exactly. That's what, so do you want to go through his deck a little bit and how testing went, as far as you know?
Yeah, he's playing like mentioned MM deck, Cleaver, which is really really all around, I would say. Has this logos Untamed. Untamed has special hammer control with Prisma, I would say, because against non-MM it's just like always +2 for the keys, and has I think has 9 or 8 mutants. So even if a MM matchup, it could be also working. So he has a lot of creatures in Untamed to also rebound and make the key increase the key costs. Logos has a good tempo and also a card like Defense Principle to was also really good against KOTE, against rush decks, and good speed, double sloppy, and cards like Terrato, which is also good against non-MM decks. And this has also, like my deck, Doppelmark of this, and Doppel Infernus, which is really good against KOTE, like cards like Dust Pixies or Ghostly Hand. And key card, I would say, is Grim Reminder to archive this or Untamed to either way to purge more cards with Infernus or to get a bunch of Untamed cards and to get the Pismire's back and to set up a place like was Blessing or something. And our testing was, I think, favored for Ivy Daily. I think he won more games than he lost. I would say we are ahead in this game, but yeah, let's see.
Oh, that's fair enough. Right, while they're getting the game set up, I'll try and get the audio working this time. Right, I'll let you. Are you guys? Are the captains going to stick around for this game?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're more than happy to stick around and help commentate.
Yep, sure.
Cool. I'm just stepping you guys quickly, and I'll get this up and running for the finals. Blue, right? Advanced audio. File blue game chat. Is that right? Why you no work? What have I done here? That's the right one. So, oh, what is going on with this OBS today? Okay, it should be working. Why is it not working?
Just on cards. So if you just play all of the cards in this deck, you've generated enough.
So I figured out what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm going to restart it.
Welcome to the second deck chat hosted by Screech Bomb Commentaries. Once again, I'm David Baron Bon Fabulous Lark. This is my co-commentator,
Callum, the good Dr. Young.
And do you want to tell us who we've got in our second game of today? These are the blue players, I believe.
Indeed. Blue players from the final. We have Rob 1K representing Can't Touch This, and Irie Daly representing the Hamburg Atlanteans. And we'll start with Rob 1K's deck, which Google Translate tells me is called Sly Losing Marek.
Clearly not been losing much, though, to get here, has it, Callum?
No, it probably is pretty good at winning. And we see a very KOTE deck. At this point, I think anyone watching is probably reasonably familiar with KOTE, Dis, Shadows, Untamed, and they will all do the things they do pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. The big thing your eyes are drawn to here is the 34 expected Ember.
Yeah, that is very fast. There's a lot of Ember. 19 of it is just on cards. So if you just play all of the cards in this deck, you've generated enough Ember to win the game.
Yeah, I think modern Keyforge generally has gotten a lot of kind of respect for the efficiency stat of it. And this is minus 0.3, but again, when you've got most of your cards have Ember bits on, you don't massively care about the efficiency because you're just playing good cards every turn.
Yeah, and the Untamed has your Untamed Rush, Double Hunting Witch, Dust Pixie, a Regrowth to bring those back, several other things with pips on.
Yep. Also
Interestingly, lacking a key cheat.
notably as well, Teliga, a rare. Each time your opponent plays a creature, gain 1. If you can't get rid of that, really hampers your opponent's turns. Don't want to give you Ember by playing creatures.
Yeah, no key charge or Chota, which could be a weakness, but is still going to generate a lot of Ember very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in a matchup against Mass Mutation, which is what we see here, where kind of mass Amber control is less of a thing. Maybe this is where this deck has really been shining in those situations.
It doesn't really matter if you have 12 Ember.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing too bad that can happen to you. But if your opponent has 12 Ember, boy, is something bad probably going to happen to them.
Yeah, as we see,
too
too much to protect here.
Double too much to protect.
Steal all but 6 your opponent's Ember. Also, the Nerve Blast and the potentially the Relentless Whispers as well to take your opponent off check after that, and the Miasma to force them to go to even more Ember as well.
Dodger and an Umbra will also take them off that 6.
Yeah.
So
just to talk to the rare, Selwyn Defense, move 1 Ember from one of your cards to your pool. A Reef effect that I think is broadly useless in this deck. I don't think there's anything that puts Ember on a creature.
There's a Charette.
There is a Charette. Very true. So
probably not going to pay off much.
No, if we do see it pay off, I think everyone should cheer because that'll be mightily impressive.
It will be Selwyn Defense's best day in this deck.
Indeed it will.
There are 3 poison waves, which is an interesting thing because that is most of the Ember control, the creature control in the deck. Sorry,
it is, but I think against the Floats with Cleavers, that could be alright because there's quite a lot of small creatures. I think we've talked about some previous deck chats we've done on this deck where there's not many things that are above 4 power in this deck. So if you can get a couple of poison waves down, you can do some damage.
Yeah. So light on the creature control, but might get away with it this time, unlike in a lot of KOTE decks now operating.
Also, pseudo creature control we have here too is when we're moving into the disc is we have a Hecatomb. Destroy each disc creature. Each player gains 1 for each creature they control that was destroyed this way. A lot of discs in They Who Flirts with Cleavers. This could do some damage.
Yeah. So when you have 5 disc creatures of your own, it's pretty good burst sudden Ember generation, and especially interesting when you combine it with the Arise.
Yeah.
So kill off a bunch of disc creatures on the board, get Ember, and then just Arise and replay all of them.
Yep, and especially when you can play that Arise with a Life Ward and a Ember Imp too, you could potentially wipe their board of any disc they have and then make it real hard for them to play anything else on their next turn.
Yeah, especially when you combine that with the double control the weak.
Yep.
Just really some very disruptive disc turns that can completely shut down an opponent, as discs often want to do.
Indeed it is. Disc, like, historically is one that I think the house that has always had the strongest identity and has always kept their identity very much of just kind of limiting your opponent's options, making it harder for them to take out their game plan and disrupting them.
Disrupting them. I know that you also made that joke. I just thought it wasn't obvious enough. Apparently,
big wink.
Moving very swiftly on, lest I embarrass myself further. Shall we talk about They Who Flirts with Cleavers?
We shall, yeah. And I think this deck, if any deck can kind of stop Treachery doing what it wants to do, this deck is going to be very good at kind of knocking it off its game here.
Yeah, it is a very strong all-round deck that we've commentated on a number of matches now, and I think has won convincingly in multiple different ways, which is, I think, why it's made it this far. And there's a number of things it can do to sort of take out this KOTE deck, as later sets often do. So let's start with the triple Pismire.
Yeah.
So each one of those is going to increase key cost by 2 whenever it's on the board, because there are no mutants in the Polish deck, and 3 of them will really ramp up that key cost. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Rob 1K pays 12 for a key.
Very few mutants in KOTE generally, and I don't believe any in the houses that we see from Marek. We also see a Vault's Blessing as well to take advantage of this. So each player gains 1 for each mutant creature they control. Well, there's 8 mutants in Cleavers and no mutants in Marek, so that could be a very large amount of Ember going Cleavers' way to no response.
Just a very interesting sort of cross-set dynamic that you very frequently see with Mass Mutation. But a lot of stuff is built around there being mutants on both sides to balance it out. Then it just becomes incredibly powerful by itself. You also have double Infernus to start purging those pips.
Yeah, you do. Also, just a quick one as well. You have, say, the Resurgence as well to bring back those Pismires, and a quick rare I want to talk about is Xenos Blood Shadow. Elusive, Hazard the 6, Poison, Skirmish, all the keywords, but worth noting in Marek, I don't believe there's a single creature over Hazard 6, so there's nothing that can fight into Xenos Blood Shadow and kill it.
So it's just going to pretty much stick on the board.
It is indeed, yeah.
That Resurgence can also bring back Pismires and Infernuses, or you can get all of the one house back at a time with the Grim Reminder.
Yeah, we do see a healthy 6.9 recursion speed in this deck.
And we've seen Cleavers a few times to pull off some really big Grim Reminder plays. Because pretty much any house, you would happily have all of them in your archive for any given time.
Yeah, so yeah, you see the Untamed, getting all those Pismires back, great. In this, getting the double Infernus back, great. And especially the Infernus in this matchup is very good. You know, you've got stuff like the Dust Pixie, 2 Ember Pips on it, very happy to get rid of it. You've got the Too Much to Protect, Ember Pips on them, very happy to get rid of them. You know, with 19 Ember Pips in Marek, you're almost always going to have something that is both a card that you're happy to get rid of because it's really annoying, but will also have an Ember Pip on it to just reduce Marek's Ember that bit too.
Yeah. The creature control is also very good in Cleavers, Savage Clash, Skixuno, BDQ. Not the biggest deal here against a KOTE deck that doesn't really tend towards big boards. And then we have the double Mark of Dis.
Indeed.
Whether double Mark of Dis is as good as double Control the Weak here, I don't know.
I don't think it is. If you look at the creatures in Marek, a lot of them are smaller. You know, you've got, say, the Ember Imps, you've got the Umbras, you've got the Hunting Witches, you know, the Dust Pixies. There's a lot of the 15 creatures that isn't, I think about a third of them aren't targets for Mark of Dis. And it also makes it easier for Marek to play around this too. You know, making sure when they're fighting, they're just saying, right, I want to get these big creatures off the board as quickly as possible, or I want to get them on enough damage whereby Mark of Disses can't do anything to me.
Yeah, or you can just discard stuff that you don't necessarily massively need that is big. Like you could just discard Tentacus or the Terror or Snufflegayer to avoid that Mark of Dis.
Yeah, indeed.
So, who do we think is going to win?
It's a difficult one. I think I would give my edge to Cleavers. I think it's got enough things to just kind of knock Marek off its game with the Infernuses. It's got some good ways of generating Ember itself that can't be matched by Marek with, say, the Vault's Blessing. You know, it's going to be... I think it's just got just enough in there, but I think we could just as easily see Marek just get off to a brutally fast start and have League Cleavers in the dust not being able to catch up. But I would give the edge just to Cleavers.
Yeah, I always hate to say it's going to come down to the draw because it's kind of...
It's a bit of a cop-out, but yeah,
it's a cop-out prediction. And also it's just kind of inherently true of any card draw-based game. But I think you're right in that we could easily see a scenario where Marek runs away with it. But probably, I think in a longer game, and also if I think they played this game 10 times, Cleavers would probably win more of them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think with the negative speed that Marek has as well makes it much harder for it to get that ideal draw as opposed to Cleavers, who can use its efficiency to get a better draw for itself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see if we are proven right as we now hand back to the KOTE guys as they bring us into the game. Thank you.
Right, let me just unmute the guys in the chat. So, the guys over at Screech Bombs are heavily favouring the Hamburg Atlanteans, but basically saying it will come down to the draw.
I think that's probably accurate. Somewhere between moderately and heavily favored, but yeah, it matters a lot when key cards come down.
Can we also take a moment to appreciate the name of the Hamburg Atlanteans deck? I love it so much.
It is.
Cleavers?
Yeah. Pastime. And just for everyone watching, the Atlanteans are on the bottom and Cant this are on the top of the screen.
Yeah, I've got the team logos there, and I've got the yellow key activated for the Hamburg Atlanteans because they won the captain's game. But this should be a very interesting match. We've got the captains here with us. how do you think the players are feeling going into this?
I believe Robic is pretty confident that if he draw the exact cards for the exact time, he could win this. But as you say previously, it is draw dependent, and we are not the favorite ones in this matchup deck wise. But let's see how it goes.
Lorenzo?
Yeah, let's see how it goes. I think Idale is ahead of in the game. If the game goes normally or like in our testing, but yeah, I think he is with my lose. He's under passive pressure. He can't lose. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm pretty excited.
So we haven't seen a mulligan from Rob, but there's the turn 1 Teal'c again.
Yeah, that's my man.
Yeah.
Sloppy lab work, disguise resurgence. Sloppy lab work again. I don't need to play creatures.
Yeah, creatures are overrated.
Disguise blood shadow. Nice. But
And resurgence.
yeah. So
That's actually odd here, because we really valued the resurgence in our pregame matchups.
Scrixino would deal with, Implosion would deal with Teal'c. Bouncing Death Park he would deal with.
Probably handcrafting, because he discarded another Untamed card, so it's
But-
probably...
Go on. I'm just looking at what kind of instant answers to Teal'c Iodale can have here.
Clash, Implosion,
Bouncing.
Scrixino
Yeah.
would still give one. Bouncing Death Park would be good.
Yeah, there are a ton of potential answers.
And the fact that he's archived 2 cards and drawn 6 means that he's probably going to have a good chance of drawing into them.
Yeah, half of this is actually saying I could take care of your Teliga right now. So, yep, we haven't seen any discards yet from.
Wait about, he discarded 2
from
cards
our
from Sloppy
daily.
Lab Work.
Yep.
Bad jokes. Rob taking his time thinking into here. But turn 1 Teal'c is just so brutal. Especially
That's
in
our
this
secret
reputation.
technique here. Waiting for our opponent to make some mistakes. No, actually,
You can't make a mistake if it's turn 1 Teal'c.
yeah, we love to take our time, especially with the time limit going up to 60 minutes. It gives us a lot of opportunity to think about every single play, every single line that we have in our hands and in our board. So that's actually really handy here. And I wonder how we will be playing after the lockdown is finished, and we'll have to play in real with just 35 minutes for a game, because we so get used to the 60 minutes.
Ideally goes into Untamed.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the answers, but Pinsmere is not a bad one, and gets rid of the special delivery as well.
Interesting.
I guess it's a case of, I might give you a key, but I'm going to make you pay extra for it. Is ahead on Amber, basically, and one of the TMTPs is gone, so that's a huge threat gone. Oh!
That was nice.
Straight up to 6, and now 2 big cards on the board that you don't really want to survive more than 1 turn.
Yeah, and the main thing here is that Robic is now protected from a mark of this, because every creature will die from the damage. So that's actually good here, because mark of this could be a real bummer in this matchup.
Oh, definitely. Mark of this would have been a real shame to see, but we haven't seen any disc come down. That's 2 turns of Shadows and then 1 turn of Untamed.
Mary Daly now taking time to think through his turn as well.
You have to when you're facing Ellis.
And that's actually a good practice here. So I don't know why not to think about your place. So just take time,
Couldn't agree more.
especially on these high tier matches.
Plays daughter, draws, doesn't. You definitely when you're facing this kind of board down, you definitely want to take your time thinking, because it looks like Rob's going to get the first key regardless.
Yeah. And I think he got no answer for the Liga, sadly. And so now he's trying to get one with Logos, but yeah.
There is still bouncing Death Quark,
And
but
Yeah.
and effortless
if there
principle,
is
that
effervescent,
As the EP.
discards Professor Turturo.
Oh,
That's a huge
an-
discard.
that's an
Yeah.
odd thing here.
Yeah, I guess no mutants in play, and you don't want to get more ammo from Teliga. I assume.
that's actually okay. So if you played the way that principle works, if you played Dorado before, they would be 9 versus 8.
They're still going to 5.
You still lose half rounded up, so rounded down the loss. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have lost
Still
4 and still stay
If I
5.
ammo. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely play Dorado there.
It's
Because-
risky, especially if you're looking at the board. It looks like ideally setting up to go back into Logos next turn and kill Teal'c with QMech. That's how I play anyway.
It depends on what they draw, right? If
Yeah.
you draw Implosion, it doesn't really matter. Like you know.
But I can both understand the discard and the playing of Professor Toronto there.
Yeah, I definitely can understand both positions on that one.
Oh, that's the Ember Imp!
Oof.
We're getting into the part of the game where it's extremely unlikely that Erie hasn't drawn an answer to this board state. Just because of all, even a Mark of Dis is an answer to this board state. It doesn't actually do any control the weak function, but it would remove Ember Imp. So,
Yeah.
there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 cards. 6. There are 6 cards that they could have that would be an immediate answer to this.
But getting rid of the charrette to prevent the Mark of Dis, as well as getting up to 6, is really good play.
Yeah, I think it's a smart play because getting the imp down forces them to answer that, which may put them into a turn where they can't take him off check.
Well, I mean, if I was saying I haven't seen any Dis yet from Iodale. Halfway through the deck, if there's an Infernus, a Snowette, and a Mark of Dis, we're kind of in a good position because you want a Mark of Dis, the Teal'c, and then play the Snowette to take him off check. But the Ember Imp just makes it a lot harder to regain control of this game.
Yeah, I believe he now has to divide his attention because you basically have Teliga and Ember Imp at the same time. So if you have only one response, you have to choose wisely here.
Yeah,
and and Mark of This into Teliga here.
Well, I hope that he doesn't have more discards in his hand.
What is he going to purge here, do we think? The TMTP, Relentless Whispers, maybe?
I think Teliga would be wise because of the regrowth.
Poison Wave, I believe. Poison Wave is the first thing, and Relentless Whispers is the second.
Hetatomb and Teal'c, or TMTP and Teal'c, because that Arise is going to be really brutal. Poison Wave and Teal'c.
Yeah.
Yep.
It only takes him off check for 1, but you don't want Arise Teal'c coming down.
I mean, the longer this game goes on, I think the more it favors Cleavers, because Cleavers has a ton of tools that ramp up as the game goes on in terms of the double Infernus, just keeps getting more nasty. Cleavers is similar to the deck I play tested against Robert's deck. It has multiple Infernuses, it's Worlds Collide nonsense. I'm sorry, Mass Mutation nonsense. So I think the longer this game goes on, the more problems it can present. So taking a conservative approach there and approaching something like Taliga is not a terrible play.
Definitely, and Iadaly here has, with the use of Ephesus and Principle and use of the Infernus, managed to slow down this rush deck, and with 34 expected Amber from the SAS markings, it is a very fast deck, but we see Cleavers has got the tools to punish it.
It's a bursty deck. It's not a fast deck from an efficiency standpoint. It just has high average card value, right? Which is why I say the longer you're able to stay in the game, especially if by staying in the game you purge out some of these cards that on the reshuffle don't reappear, it makes a big difference. So it's like it's a burst deck.
It's siege warfare. It ideally just needs to outlast the initial assault, and then it can hunker down and take the win back slowly.
Irie's only got 2 Amber control cards left in his deck at this point, right? 1 Infernus.
Well,
but 3 Pismires.
Yeah,
Pismire.
Yeah,
you've got 2 more Pismires. You've got Snarette. You've got the Infernus, and you've got Amber Spire Mongrel, which can do a lot of damage.
Also, you got a good reminder to take back the Pismires or the Infernus. So
exactly. Goes into this.
Yeah, maybe Control the Weak could be really hurting.
Let's see.
A Control the Weak would probably be Logos, because the Untamed's probably building up in the hand, and you don't want to give the opportunity to get the mutants down. Because a Volt's Blessing here would be absolutely huge. We've won.
But on the other hand, Untamed has almost no way to take this Ember Imp from the table. So playing Control the Weak now on Untamed could be massive here, especially when our opponent could only play 2 cards, and only 1 card actually takes care of this board state, and it's Savage Clash.
Yeah, Savage Clash, which would put Ember.
But
like depending on what you control into. There's also Implosion, which I don't think has been played yet.
No, we're talking about if it was Control the Weak into Untamed.
Oh yeah.
You have to have the Savage Clash ready to go. So a charrette that captures 3 into a Terror for 2, put in Rob at 8.
It's a good combo. He needs to have 6-Uno or Clash here to
answer this board.
Yeah.
An enormous
Yeah.
Savage Clash to leave Umbra on the board.
Savage Clash Prismire would be a really good turn to also make opponents play Streamer more.
Alternatively, the second Infernus to take down to exactly 6, and then Scrixnos to put the Grim Reminder online for the double Infernus.
But if you play 6-0, it's an Omega, so
yeah. So I mean, like for future
for next turn, yeah.
But you'd reap with the Infernus, but it's not the greatest. Definitely in a bad position here, and that's why Iadaly's definitely gonna have to think about it. But it's handling the siege quite well.
Yeah, I wonder if it's really unlikely that they, in this time of the game, no bot clear. That's really unlucky, I would say.
The ideal thing for Iadaly to have here is Mark of Dis and Scrixno, just to put them back into Dis.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see when it comes down. Savage Clash would be really good, but going into Logos.
Deathquark, maybe?
But it's basically saying you're getting this key because the efforts and principle's gone.
Yep.
Yeah, well, there isn't a lot left in deck that. Well,
and this bouncing, yep.
Cards could be good, but yeah, there's the bouncing Deathquark. I think you have to kill more than that, though. Especially Infomorphs doing nothing for you.
Infomorph and maybe Infernus also.
Yeah, you want the Infernus in the discard so you can recur it.
Yeah, I'd kill Infomorph, Pit Demon, Infernus.
Umbra.
I would consider Umbra, yeah, because I'll kill Shred. The reason why I don't know that, well, it depends on what else you have in hand.
Keeps Umbra and Terror around.
If you can't get to check, then killing... Okay, you can't get to check.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the Discombobulator on the daughter, Umbra does have the ability to steal by itself. Nerve Blast doesn't do any damage here.
Makes sense.
Nerve Blast doesn't work.
And we've seen Relentless Whisper already. So possible that we'll see a Reap off the Umbra, Poison Wave, Nerve Blast.
Like, he's got 2 more Poison Waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Discombobulator is actually really important to take care of in this matchup, because all the Ember control on the opponent side is coming almost exclusively right now from stealing.
I would have considered putting the Discombobulator on him. If that was the line they were going to take, I would have considered, like, yes, Daughter draws you a card, but I would have considered putting it on a different creature, because the most likely way in which that can be removed is a Poison Wave, and if you're in Shadows and a Poison Wave, then then you're going to get value out of Umbra, and
Plays the TMTP, so I take it there's no Miasma in hand then, because a Miasma play would be really good here. There's a Nerve Blast.
Yeah,
Discard.
have to discard. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Rob just basically saying, cool, you can have the key, but you've still got to catch up.
That's a pretty big turn there. Get in with a key, no Poison Wave showing up.
I think the second TMTP coming down is going to put Iodale into Untamed now, and we're going to see these mutants and this Vault Blessing.
Or maybe this with a second mark of this. Could be the saving, could be a misplay play. To force back to Shadows.
I've missed out on actually doing the key animation.
No, he takes his archive here as well, so 10 cards in hand.
Sorry about that, chat. I forgot that I had the key animations lined up. I'm so involved in the game. Snowet. There's the Infernus. It's got to be both TMTPs, right?
I don't think so.
Given that this deck is not cycling fast, or
Relentless Whisper and Hecatomb.
Yeah, they are more premium than TMTPs here.
So I think if Cleavers wins this game, it's going to be after a redraw. I think there's going to be time for at least a couple cards to be redrawn if Cleavers wins this game. So I think that you might actually want to get rid of maybe Hecatomb, but I don't. Whispers I would not care as much about as scaling steel, because you're going to have to ramp into a win here. That's my instinct, but I don't know. The redraws should be short.
Soulkeeper on Daughter's nice. I mean, Rob's back down to 2 Amber, so Iodale is controlling this game. It's like controlling a Raging Bull, but he's controlling it.
Cleavers is stabilizing. Yeah, this is... It's going to be... Well, we'll see. I would expect to see some Poison Wave.
I'm interested to see what took so long to end the turn. Is Iodale holding on to possibly the Grim Reminder or the Scrixno, or just something that they possibly could have played there?
Grim Reminder is one thing. If they're holding on to Sixuno, that is almost certainly a mistake in this particular situation. Just because, like,
you're so close to redrawing,
and they also have a board state. Like, they're not likely to be playing Sixuno in the near future.
Ritual Balance. So no Hunting Witches yet.
No Hunting Witch, yeah.
Both Hunting Witches still in the deck. This is going to be the disc guys going down. So not going to be able to get rid of this Amber off Snoret. But if Iodale can protect Snoret here from the Snufflegator, this could be huge. Just let it tick away for a little bit. It appears Chris is back and should be joining us shortly.
The Exhaust, the Infernus, the Imp Spectre, and the Daughter.
Oh, keeps us around.
Yeah, so he's preventing his opponent from destroying Infernus and playing Grim Reminder.
And he's preventing him destroying the Imp Spectre.
Yep. Stopping the purging.
So he doesn't care about Snaret because he's going to deal with it in some other way, I believe.
We've seen the boss. Discards Logica.
Okay, so the reason you would do that would be if there's a card in draw that you really need.
Like Grim Reminder.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Volt's,
like
possibly Volt's Blessing, Reclaimed by Nature. Oh, Reclaimed by Nature's gone. The second marker disc. That's quite telling that there's a lot of power left in the deck.
Oh, it's because he only has one card from Logos in his deck.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. So basically, he doesn't want to run the risk of losing the power that's left in the deck.
One Logos card would be fine, except that if you have stuff in deck that you need to draw.
Yeah.
Also, you don't want to flip the deck because the Grim Reminder has a dwarf flip, and if there are no cards left in the deck, plays Grim Reminder, the deck flips, and you archive nothing. So
yeah. Well, he also probably wants a chance to kill the Infernus before he can play the Grim Reminder.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I point out we've only seen one turn of Untamed from Ayodele. So this Untamed is cool. Oh, Life Ward. Life Ward could be huge.
Reclaimed is already in the discard, so that is a pretty big deal.
No control the week still.
So check here.
Yeah. Sure.
So this 6-Uno could be punished right now with this Life Ward.
This is the issue.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good play getting that down. Heading him off at the pass.
As we get deeper in, we see Rob still hasn't got these hunting witches down, but doesn't really have. There's Mamook and Dust Pixie left to go with the regrowth, but with Teal'c being purged, that's very limiting on the options. Ritual Balance could be huge here. Life Ward, if played correctly, is going to be absolutely huge here.
Regrowth probably pulls back an Ember Imp, I would guess. If that's the next turn.
I'm not sure that Robic would like to, slow himself with one card to play on the next round. I would bet that if he have the regrowth, he would discard his Untamed creature before and then draw it.
Would you not just fight like the Niffle Ape into a creature?
Yeah, I was presuming that. Well, no, I was actually presuming that 6-Uno would have been played, but then you would have Untamed creatures in the discard, and you probably have Hunting Witches. So yeah, that would make more sense.
Yep.
If that was the line.
Robic's still got both Control the Weeks available to him as well, right? He's not used
both Control the Weeks, both Hunting Witches. Has he got 2 Poison Waves left as well? Yeah.
Yeah, we call Control the Weak, Control the Skill in the team because it's a really skill-based card. You have to think a lot about which house you want to force your opponent to go into.
He only has 3 discards available to him, so 2 Control the Weeks and 1 other. So might be a while before we see that because it feels like it would be a slow turn.
So here comes the Untamed creatures.
It appears might have to take him off.
Discards the Savage Clash.
It's fair. He doesn't want to lose that board.
Well, so that's probably anti-Life Ward decision. That's probably what that is, right?
But now
that could be double Poison Wave Life Ward decision here.
Yeah. This, ironically, at this point, Robert wants to clear the board. He'd be happy to clear the board.
Playing the Toad is quite interesting, but
Well, I mean,
it doesn't really get any value either way. But
it takes a redraw at the minimum, but you can always fight with it. I mean, you do stuff.
taking Rob off the key means that he does need to deal with these Pismires, but he also can't reap without Amber Spy Mongol punishing. But if he has got the double poison wave, I think this is a double poison wave turn, and you just accept you're not going to get any Amber from the Umbra or the fence.
Yeah, I believe that double poison wave turn is the no-brainer, and he's still thinking. So I wouldn't put my money on it right now. Looking how he thinks.
Well, there's
how long he thinks.
Even if he has poison wave, if he's got another Shadows card, there's some interesting interaction with Inspector. If that's what you're going to do, like whether you want to play it or whether like what would you want Inspector to have a shot at purging out of hand?
Oh, if you play the first, if you play the first poison wave and then lose the second to Inspector.
Right, but also if you have a different, like I don't know what Shadows cards he's got left in that, but like
pushing Abigail into Logos with the Control the Weak here.
Yep.
And taking the Pismar out. Great move.
Gets Pismar, but doesn't deal with the Amber Spy Mongol. So although it gets to 8, it does give Idaily an extra Amber. But
it's an interesting line. Doesn't pop Life Ward either.
No.
So
yeah, it's not a Life Ward turn right here.
You're waiting for that double poison wave.
Yep, totally.
Sacrobot gets some value here with the discard and draw ability.
Yeah, it could get sour if this Inspector actually purges one of the poison waves. On the one side, half of Robik's board would still be there, but on the other side, opponent's board still stays in almost the same fashion here.
But we've got 2 cards left in Iadale's deck, so the chances of him not having Grim Reminder and the second market disc ready to go could be huge.
Yeah, but he's forced to play Logos.
Yeah,
he's forced to play Logos now. But if you go Poison Wave, Life Ward,
he might have to kill Daughter in order to prevent himself from redrawing deck, depending upon how many other Logos cards are remaining to be
one. I think Electric Fury is still one.
That's true. You don't want to.
Yeah, I can't play this. But
never mind. There's only one more Logos card, so that's not necessary.
Yeah, but the Sacrobot lets you discard and draw.
I think you fight then with him.
Umbrabot, yeah.
Umbrabot.
So yeah.
Umbrabot.
That still wouldn't matter. No, that still doesn't do it. That still doesn't reshuffle that. That puts 0 card in draw. Because you would discard, you would draw, and then if you had the other Logos card, you would play the other Logos card. Well, let me make sure the other Logos card doesn't cause you to draw or do anything. What's the other Logos
I think it's an inquiry to let you archive top 2 of cards, so you can't play that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately here, you have only one Logos card here, and if you draw one card, you could still play Grim Reminder, but if you draw more than one, you are just out of luck here.
Yeah.
So
Mary Daly's still got the Skixino as well. It's interesting he's either not drawn it or he's holding on to it.
Well, yeah.
If he played Skixino, Robik would probably, pop the Life Ward.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Skixino would be very bad.
So, but then pitch it.
Yeah, that's what it's probably going to be next turn. I think once the board gets cleared, Ideal is going to go into Dis. It's going to be a mark of Dis into whatever, back into Shadows.
Yeah,
discard. Yeah, there we go. That's what we expected. Fights with the Daughter. Wants to really make sure they're not redrawing here.
Well, he also got double creature kill off value off that. Removing stuff off Robert's board, I think, is a good idea because Robert is ahead in Amber and Keys. So you have to decrease the plausibility of him getting to check this turn.
Oh, definitely.
So it's Untamed, and it will be a big burst.
Just Pixie.
Only One which?
Doesn't matter because he's got to 6 with the regrowth of the Niffle Ape. The Niffle Ape comes down, gets to 7. Reap with the Snufflegator to 8. Vigor,
Vigor 9.
Pops the ward as well
to make sure the other Infernus can't come down.
The Infernus.
And I believe
I think
that's GG here.
Yeah, I know concedes.
Whoa!
Great game.
Oh,
GG.
That was a
GG
great
for,
game.
for taking the tournament. GG.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, there's no stress on the last game then. Oh,
Yeah, and big congrats to Cant.
yeah. Huge congrats to Cant.
Well done, gents.
They've had, as JB said, possibly the hardest rise to the top of any tournament ever.
Yeah, any Keyforge tournament, I think that's probably the hardest day 2 run, which is very impressive.
Well, let's say the hardest day 2 run until KOTE finals. Let's be clear.
Yeah, the hardest day 2 run so far.
Yes.
Yes.
That's true. Although we are
Give us 12
broadcasting
weeks.
the future, I cannot predict the future. That is an accurate statement.
I'm sure
Why not?
I'm sure every team Can't Touch This beat on the way up here is coming for revenge in the next one.
Yes, we will.
Chris, is there any chance we can group them all together?
There is, but that's called cheating. But the Hamburg 3 teams and Can't Touch This 3 teams all in the same group does sound like a very good idea. With Team Mavericks from Hong Kong.
Right, I'm gonna go back to. Just gonna go back to the Top Cup screen. Well, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Well, we get Rob back in. Is Rob gonna jump back into the chat, Dominic?
Yep.
But yeah, that was definitely a very well played game. It could have gone either way. The turn 1 Teal'c once again did a lot of work very early on, and it struggled to be answered. A very well placed Life Ward and Control the Weak just was able to carry it out at the end. How's the rest of the commentary feeling? From what you caught there, Chris, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to lose our bet that we're going to finish before 6.
I get a beer.
But no, it was another amazing game. And there's another point I want to bring up after we've got the gone through the 2 players' results. But let me bring that up after we've gone through everything.
We've got a message from Kiwi asking if they play the third game. If you guys want to play the third game, you can. It's a no stress sort of situation. If Kiwi's not feeling up to it, I'm sure
We'd like you to, but if you don't want to,
we'd like you to, but we completely understand if you don't want to.
Okay, you want me to get Robic here for the interview because he's asking?
Yeah.
If he's bring him in. He is.
Sure.
Yeah, boom, he's in. Ideally's also welcome if he wants to, Lorenzo.
Congrats, Robbie. There, you flirted with some cleavers and came out on top. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
So that's 2 games in a row you've pulled turn 1 Teal'c.
Sometimes you need just to close the eyes and click the mulligan, right?
Let's be very clear though. This was not the semi-final high roll.
No.
Definitely not. But
Good, but he had to grind to get the rest of it.
True, but the thing is that actually I was pure lucky, first of all, to get the Tele guy, and the Ember Imp early, and then have double Control the Weak and Life Ward at the bottom, as well as Dust Pixie and Hunting Witches. So I was just getting sure that I am able to force 2 keys and be ahead. And then when the end game started, I was like, Control the Weak into Logos, you have 3 cards. And then I was like, Life Ward, you cannot play Prismires. It was also a little bit on the high roll end, but definitely not as much as the semi-final.
Yeah, the Life Ward at the end, with knowing that there's Pismires and Control and Infernus is still left to be played, was absolutely huge. And as JB said, this was not like the semi-final. Just look at my god hand. This was a hard grind by both players to maintain control of this game.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised by the eclectic inquiry discard because I felt like the only out he had was to get the inquiry to have 0 cards in draw and reap with the techno thing or something to get shuffled to draw the effervescent principle to counter the check on end life ward. So I was a little bit.
That's actually a pretty good point. I hadn't considered that at the time.
Yeah, so but of course I had one control the weak left in the deck. So, namely, if he could have played like the effervescent, if he could have drawn it, then the next turn would be probably control the weak into Logos and game, right? But it was the line I was considering at the time.
Okay, and yeah, Chris, we're definitely going to be doing time because the Hamburg Atlanteans blue player would like to pass on playing, as it doesn't affect the outcome of the game.
Okay, that's a shame. Well,
a real shame.
Let me just jump in here 1 second. It's not all doom and gloom for Hamburg Atlanteans. Hamburg Atlanteans have won the second cut today.
Wow.
So they contracts this win the top cut. And
Congrats.
Congrats to Hamburg Atlantean Team 1 for winning the second cut versus Team Labwork. The second result came in about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, nice. So
Congrats. Silver lining.
yeah, and just because the Hamburg Atlanteans 2 lost here does not take away any of the skill that they've shown throughout getting to this point. Every team has played their absolute best, and this top cut we've had has probably been one of the most competitive that we've seen throughout the history of KOTE.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, well, the entire event has been. I'll go as far as saying, with us splitting now into group time zones, we don't see a particular group that seems overly strong compared to the others, and all of the groups had high finishes in the top cut. So I would say the standard we are seeing of people bringing forward is amazing, but it's also, and this for me is a personal pride point here, is the quality of players in the lower cuts and their desire to keep playing. It's amazing that they. And I like this fact that we are offering the opportunity for people who don't make the top cut still to play against international people that are about the similar level. And we aren't seeing any teams decimate massively in the lower cuts. It all seems to be a relatively balanced, all the way through. And for me, that is the real success of the event we're running.
Apart from this one team that somehow made it to the top cut that just got destroyed by Hamburg Atlanteans twice. Which we somehow made it to the qualifiers for top cuts and then got beat down by Hamburg Atlanteans 3-1.
And not even slightly.
Not like it wasn't even close. It was a proper beatdown.
I don't think I forced a key in 2 games. But sorry, we're interrupting someone. Go ahead.
I believe you this tournament was so competitive because you let us to take our fastest horses out of the stable, and there was no limits here. So we just go take our best decks and go crazy here. So it was really, really competitive. I believe because of that. But the next format looks also pretty exciting, especially when we are considering this increasing SAS level. So each week there will be a new, let's say, challenge for every player.
I think the biggest part of KOTE with the climb is the fact once we've gone past the qualifier, we start going back down, and that's when it's going to get a lot more difficult because the finals should be around the 60-62 mark, depending on how long round robin lasts. Which I think is going to be absolutely insane.
So, and how many Hamburg Atlanteans teams can we see to register next week? 4 teams, 5 teams, 10 teams? How big is your team growing to?
I think we see 2 teams. So we want 1 team less because also with the upcoming KFA season, some players would not to have 2 tournaments to be part of it.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Also for myself, I will take a pause for KOTE this time. So yeah.
Well,
that's a shame.
Hopefully I will see guys next KOTE.
Well, I'll just reiterate what I said on Discord yesterday. The SAS update for February goes live tomorrow. Nathan's confirmed it. So yeah, if you want to secure your decks, get them in sooner rather than later.
Yep. And then and then you can always change them if you want.
You can always update them after the SAS update if there's something better.
I would tell my guys to qualify now. That's all.
Awesome. So, guys, it's been brilliant having you both here, both the captains. I assume you're both still there, Lorenzo and Dominic.
Yeah.
It's been a hard fought final. I apologize for not being here for most of it. One day we can have a beer and argue why. But it's been, and thank you for Justice Blind and Void or Tom for coming on board to help with the commentate and keep the things moving. And I think this went really well, and I look forward to doing this at a future final where I'm attending a bit longer. So because I think it was a really good experience for all of us and all the captains on board. So thank you all for making this such a success.
I think the live finals has been a big success here. If you want us to keep doing it, please let us know. We want to sort of have more interactivity with the community. And speaking of interactivity with the community, we will have the Keyforge quiz at 9 p.m. GMT on Tuesday. I'm currently at 45 questions, but it's been said to me I need to add a few easier ones for newer players. So it's probably going to end around the 60 mark.
And the stream will start at 9. The questions will start at 9:30. So those of you in the US wanting to finish work, I think that's 4:30 for East Coast.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3:30 for East Coast.
No, 4:30.
Is it 4:30?
5 hours
okay,
behind.
Better,
4:30 for East Coast. We'll be using the quiz kit on Twitch, which means that you basically just make sure that your name's enabled so we know who's playing, and you just answer questions by tapping or clicking on the screen during the quiz. It's really simple and easy to use, and we do run a quick demo beforehand so people who haven't used it before can get used to it. But,
perfect.
Yeah, big thanks to Void, JB, Lorenzo, Kivi, Aya Daily, Tycho, Frown, and Rob for joining us and playing. It's a shame we didn't get to see the last game, but it's completely understandable that they didn't want to play it. And we'll see you all on Tuesday, and I will console myself with that free beer.
Yes, I'm not sure when, but one day soon. Awesome. So congratulations, everyone. Have a great day, and I think we're going to end it here then.
Thank you.
Before we end it, just a big round of applause to Can't Touch This for all the great work they've done taking apart the decks throughout the tournament, and for coming out on top as well.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so you have all seen how Robic plays. He's a super skilled player. And if you want to support charity, you could always click on the link and buy our coaching. And Robic is one of our best players.
It's going to be a long one.
Yeah, it's going to be a long coaching.
Get your coaching in before KOTE. They'll even help you. They're brilliant at taking apart decks, so they'll even go through decks with you during the coaching.
Yeah, we could go through your decks. We could help you choose some decks for KOTE 8, and all the money goes to charity. So it's a good cause, and it's a lot of fun. And just try it.
Right,
sounds good.
We'll end it there.
Shall we roll the end with the KOTE advert for those few people unaware of it?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I'm just gonna take the quick. There you go. For some reason, it's been messing up on this. I'm just gonna that.
The authority of the Federal Communications Commission.
Thanks for.
A test program follows.
Roll it back. Thanks for everybody. I'm gonna meet you guys, and I'll see you later.
We are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles. The authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows. Very technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know one as well as anybody knows. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.